At this station, you'll learn to compare fractions when the denominators are the same. Suppose you had to answer this question. Would you rather eat 4/5 of a head of broccoli or 3/5 of a head of broccoli? The answer might be different depending on whether you like broccoli or not, right? At your station, you have some fraction manipulatives, some colored pencils or markers, and a recording sheet called Comparing Fractions When the Denominators Are the Same. Be sure you can reach all your materials. First, find the whole in your fraction manipulatives and place it in front of you. Now find the eighths. Find the pieces that make a complete whole using 8 fractional parts. Place them on top of the whole to be sure you have enough eighths to make a whole. You can pause the video while you do this, then start it again whenever you're ready. Pause the video now and make the wholes, and then start again when everyone at your table is finished. Your manipulatives should look something like this. I have fraction circles. You might have fraction strips or fraction squares. Look for these two things to know that you have your manipulative set up right. You have a whole, circle, square, or strip, and you have 8/8 on top of the whole, with no extra space and none hanging over the edge. All of the parts are exactly the same size. Now you and your partner are going to make different fractions. Instead of having 2 complete circles, we're going to change the circles into fractions that are smaller than 1. One of you will make 5/8 and the other will make 4/8. Pause the video, decide who will make 5/8 and who will make 4/8, and then make them. Start the video when you have both fractions made. Your models should look something like this. Let's count the fractional parts to be sure that you have 5/8. Be sure to point at each eighth as you say its name using fraction language. Here we go. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8. Now let's make sure you have 4/8. Here we go. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. Look at part 1 on your sheet. Color one of the circles so that it shows 5/8 and the other so that it shows 4/8. Then write the fractions below. Pause the video now and do part 1. Now that we've got everything set up, we need to compare the fractions to see which one is larger than the other. Which is larger, 5/8 or 4/8? Which represents more of the whole than the other? When the denominators are the same and the fractional parts are the same size, all you have to do is look at the numerator to see which has more fractional parts. In our example, 5/8 represents more of the whole than 4/8 does. This means that 5/8 is greater than 4/8. 5/8 has more eighths than 4/8 does. In part 2 on your sheet, you're going to write the comparisons in symbols and in words. Then you're going to write your thinking by filling in the sentences using a word bank. Pause the video and do part 2 and start it again when everyone at your table is finished. Let's look at what you should have filled in. First, look at the comparisons. How do you write a comparison between 5/8 and 4/8? There are 2 ways to write it. 5/8 is greater than 4/8, or 4/8 is less than 5/8. Now let's look at the words. There are 2 different ways you could have filled it out. You could have written, when the numerators are different and the denominators are the same, the fraction with the largest numerator is greater than the fraction with the smallest numerator. You could have also written it like this. When the numerators are different and the denominators are the same, the fraction with the smallest numerator is less than the fraction with the greatest numerator. To know if you got this right, check these things. you need to have the words largest, greater, and smallest in one of the sentences, and the words smallest, less, and greatest in the other sentences. They also have to be in the right order. If you wrote them incorrectly, you can change them now. Do you have trouble remembering which symbol to use? Lots of people have trouble remembering which symbol means less than and which symbol means greater than. I'm going to show you something that might make it easier for you to remember. Look at the ends of the number line. See the arrows? They look like the greater than and less than symbols, and they can tell you which symbol to use. The arrow on the left is next to the smaller numbers. It's the same as the less than sign. The arrow on the right is next to the larger numbers. It's the greater than sign. Use a mental picture of the number line to help you remember which symbol to use. Let's apply that idea here. We know that 4/8 is less than 5/8. That means I need to use the less than symbol. Look at the end of the number line next to the small numbers and draw that arrow. Now let's look at this one. 5/8 is greater than 4/8. That means that I need to use the greater than symbol. Look at the end of the number line next to the larger numbers and draw that arrow. Now you're going to do the problems in part 3. Make the fractions using your manipulatives, then use the greater than or less than symbols to compare the fractions. When you've finished, raise your hand so that your teachers can check your answers. Pause the video now and do the work in part 3. Thanks for learning with us.